Hey everybody, welcome back to the Race 5 Smokehouse and Grill, and today we're taking this beautiful pork tenderloin and making some grilled pork cordon bleu on the Weber Kettle. Let's go! Now I'm taking inspiration on this recipe from Chef Jean-Pierre. He recently did a pork tenderloin cordon bleu in the oven. We're gonna do it on the grill and kick it up a notch. So first thing we gotta do, if we got this beautiful pork tenderloin here, this is about 1 1/3 pounds, is we gotta trim this up some. We got some of this silver skin and some of this loose dangly fat. We're just gonna get rid of that. So let's see where to start here. Just kind of get underneath it and work your way across. Now these are kind of smaller cuts of meat, so you kind of want to be careful. You don't want to take too much off. Nice sharp knife is always beneficial for these kinds of trim jobs. Some of this other fat here, you really don't need to worry about. That is going to render and cook off. You just want to make sure you get a lot of those big danglies off and that silver skin that will not cook or eat well. This is all nice and trimmed up, and if you give it a quick look here, you're gonna see you have a straight edge and more of a rounded edge. Now when we go to butterfly this, we wanna make sure that this straight edge is basically the middle, so when we open it, we're able to work nicely. So here again, here's the straight edge facing me, the rounded edge here, and we're essentially just gonna cut right into this, right in half. But we're not gonna go all the way through. You just wanna be able to get it to fold over and open nicely. We have our pork tenderloin butterflied open, looking beautiful. Next, we're gonna pound this out, spread it open, thin it out. That way when we cook it, it's gonna be very tender, easy bite through, and it's gonna cook a little bit quicker as well. The technique that Chef showed was he put a layer of plastic wrap, the meat, another layer of plastic wrap, and pounded it out. So that's what we're gonna do. Now we've got this nice and covered in our plastic wrap, and we're gonna take a meat tenderizer and just pound it out, get it nice and thin to maybe about 1/4 of an inch thick. That way it'll be nice and easy to roll up and give us some more space to work with. Now we're gonna start by pounding it out right in the middle and then working our way out to spread this out. If you notice, as I'm hammering, I'm kind of also pushing it out towards the edges to move that meat around and give us a more uniform shape. This is about as pounded out as we are going to get it. Let's separate these. And I am going to reposition this on here because I am going to use this to help roll it up here in a minute. We have this tenderloin pounded out, looking great. Next thing we're gonna do is give this a real quick seasoning, just a light hit of salt and pepper to get this pork seasoned. Now if you notice, we didn't go too heavy with that salt and pepper because we are going to be stuffing this and rolling it up. And we're gonna be using prosciutto and some provolone cheese, which has some salt in there already, so we don't wanna over salt this. So let's get the first layer inside this done, which is going to be prosciutto. Prosciutto is a very thinly sliced cured Italian ham, and it's great. The flavors are amazing. We're using a good quality one here, a prosciutto di Parma, and we're just gonna line this up here, a few pieces of the prosciutto. If you don't have prosciutto in your area, you could just use a thinly sliced ham. That'll work fine as well. But you can see how thinly sliced this stuff is. This is absolutely delicious. Now I am not gonna go all the way out to the edges. We're gonna get close, because as we're rolling it, we don't want this filling to be hanging out, dripping out while we're cooking. Next layer, we're gonna throw some provolone cheese down here. This is some sliced provolone cheese. Gonna fold it in half and just go over the center with it. I'm gonna do 2 layers of cheese and then 1 more layer of prosciutto on top of the cheese. Now for the fun part, we're gonna try to get this rolled up nice and tight. So I'm gonna tuck this stuffing in here, this prosciutto and cheese a little bit more. We're gonna fold over the outside edge. Now as we roll this, this should seal this as it cooks. Keep this tucked in there and just finish rolling it off. Now a little pro trick is we got this all put together. You got the seam over here. Give this a tight roll. And now you have this beautiful form here that's gonna be nice and easy to cut when it's cooked, and it's gonna be nice and uniform. We're gonna go throw this in the refrigerator until we get that Weber Kettle fired up. So let's go throw this in the fridge and get over to that Weber Kettle. So I have the grill set up with some Jealous Devil lump charcoal. I have a couple of wax lighter cubes in there. We're just gonna start this up. Those wax cubes are lit, and we're gonna let it go till the charcoal in the middle of the slow and sear is nice and hot, ashed over and ready to go. We'll be back when the grill's ready to go so we can season up and tie up that pork cordon bleu. That charcoal is nice and hot in the center, ashed over, wax cubes are gone. We pulled this pork tenderloin out of the fridge. It was in there about a half an hour. You can let it go longer, an hour or two, it'll be perfectly good, and it'll actually help it set up more. So now we're gonna take this out of the plastic wrap and we're gonna tie it up with some butcher's twine. See, it sticks with that great form that we created when we rolled it. So now we got to get some butcher's twine. We're going to go roughly a little bit more than 1 full length of it, but we're going to do that 3 times. So close to 4 full lengths of butcher's twine. Spoiler alert, I am not great at this, so I'm hoping it comes out good. Going to leave about a foot behind here and then scoot it under. 1. And 2 on this first one. And it's not going to go anywhere, but we will give it a quick knot on top of that. That's going to go over this way. And then we're going to continue down this way, right to the middle. Scoop this one around as well. Try to keep it as straight as possible. There's number 2, nice and tight. And we're going to do a third one over here. Tie it around. Pull it out nice and tight. Now we have our 3 sections here, perfectly tied. Give it a roll over. Then we're going to go ahead, tie this up to keep this all together as well. Do a 1. Here we go. Now we can snip this off. And we have our pork tenderloin cordon bleu all tied up. Actually, I'm pretty happy with the way that went. We already put some salt and pepper inside, but since we are grilling it, I want some grilled flavor with this. I want some barbecue flavor. So today we're using Smokin Ghost barbecue all-purpose rub. This stuff is great on anything. Let's go ahead and season this up. I'm gonna start with the back side. This is gonna be the side we cook down. And we're gonna hit all sides. There we have it. This is all seasoned up, ready to go. I'm gonna let it sit here for about 5 minutes or so to really let that rub tack up. Then we're gonna get it onto the grill. Let's head over to the grill and get this on. Grill's up to temp. We're gonna be running this pretty hot today, somewhere between 300 and 325. This tenderloin is looking great. That rub has set up perfectly. Now it's time to go ahead and get this onto the grill. And we're just gonna place it right in the center here. Got that on the grill. We are going to go ahead and close this up. Come check in about a half hour, see how we're doing, if we have to rotate, and see how it's looking. It's right at about 30 minutes since we put this on the grill. Let's go take a quick check at it. It's been running between 350 and 375, which is a little hotter, which I'm okay with. Let's go take a look at this. This is looking great. Really nice color. That is setting up nice. Give it a quick look underneath. Perfect. Turn it around. We're not losing anything out of the seam that's down here. So we're gonna close that back up. Closed it back up, gonna come back in about another 15-20 minutes. It's looking great, feeling nice, and nothing's leaking out of there, which is perfect. We're gonna cook this to about 150 internal. Let's see how it does. We're closing in on an hour on this cook. Let's go take some quick temps in the center of this pork tenderloin Cordon Bleu, and then we're gonna hit it with a quick glaze. Okay, let's take some quick temps here right in the center. 136, 139. Okay, perfect. The juices are just pouring out of this thing. Now's a perfect time to go ahead and put our glaze on it. Today we are going to hit it with some Big Wick's Parker County Peach Pepper Jelly Glaze. This is going to add some more depth of flavor, some sweetness to kind of offset all that saltiness, savoriness with this Cordon Bleu. Let's go hit this with a quick glaze. All glazed up, don't know what to do. Let's close up this Weber and we're gonna pull it off here in a little bit, let it rest, slice into it. We'll be back shortly. This went to about 150, 152 internal, depending on where you were probing it. We pulled it off. It's been resting for about 15, 20 minutes. Let those juices redistribute, let it cool down a little bit. Just loosely tented in this foil. We're time to take it out, slice it up, and give it a try. This is looking and smelling amazing immediately. I cannot wait to try this. That glaze really added another level of color and sheen to this. So let's first get this string unattached. We're just gonna snip in a few places. Wanna be gentle as you can when removing it, because the meat will kind of shrink around it and it could get stuck in there, and you don't really want to rip it apart as you're taking the string off of it. Looking and smelling phenomenal. You can see that this is where that seam is, but since we let it sit in the refrigerator for a little while, and since we tied it up with that butcher's twine, that stuff really stayed together well. Now for the most exciting part of it all, slicing into it and seeing what it looks like. I'm gonna start on the edge here. Now remember, these both sides were folded in, so this is gonna be mostly meat. But you could see right away, juices are running. You see that cheese in there? Oh man. Try not to press too hard so that cheese just doesn't come pouring out of there. But my goodness. Look how nice that looks. That cheese staying there real nice. It is melty and gooey. Perfect. Gotta give it a try now. I have to say, this was delicious. Thank you, Chef Jean-Pierre, for that idea and inspiration. This is bursting with flavors. You get that great glaze off the bat, and then as you chew into it, you get the cheese, and you get the pork, and you get the prosciutto. Everything works together so well with this dish. If you like what we did here, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Check me out on social media, and we will be talking to you all soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.